Alright, a large corporation uses a telephone chain to notify employees of company closings due to bad weather. The plant manager calls 5 people in the first round. Each of those people calls 5 people in the second round. If the pattern continues, how many people will be called in the fourth round? So, first round, got 5 people. Each one of those calls 5. So that'd be 25. Each one of those calls 5. So you multiply that times 5. That would be, so for that round, it would be 125 for the third round. Then each one of those calls 5. So this was the first round, second round, third round. This is going to be the fourth round. 125 times 5. 25, 10, 12, 5, 625. Triangle ABC is shown in the graph in your answer document. Show that segment connecting the midpoint of segment of AB, segment AB, and segment BC is parallel to segment AC, and 1/2 its length. Show your work. Provide an explanation. So we got to show that midpoints connecting those. Midpoints connecting, or the midpoints connected is parallel. That's the symbol for parallel to side AC. We've got to show that the segment connecting the midpoints is half the length of segment AC. And we've got to show our work or give some kind of explanation. So, first thing we can do is find the midpoints. To find the midpoints, let's go up here and we'll find the coordinates. Coordinate of A is 1, 2. Coordinates of C is 11, 4. Coordinates of B is 9, 8. Now we want to find AB. We want to find the midpoint of segment AB. So we use these two coordinates in the midpoint formula. As you add the x's together, divide by 2. Add the y's together, divide by 2. So the midpoint of segment AB, we would add the x's. That's 1 plus 9 divided by 2. We add the y's, 2 plus 8 divided by 2. So the midpoint of AB that's 10 divided by 2, which is 5. That's 10 divided by 2, which is 5. So that's the midpoint of AB, 5, 5. 5, 5, which would be right there. Then we find the midpoint of BC, for B and C. We got 9 and 11 for the x's, divided by 2. 8 and 4 for the y's, divided by 2. 9 plus 11 is 20, divided by 2 is 10. 8 plus 4 is 12, divided by 2 is 6. So you got 10, 6. So 10 up 6 would be right there. And we want the segment that connects those two. So right across through there. Now we want to take that segment and we want to see if it's half the length of AC. And we also want to show that it's parallel to it. I forgot that one over here. So we want to show it's parallel to AC. Oh no, I did it up top here. Alright, so what we're going to do now, first let's show that it's parallel. So we'll decide whether it's parallel or not. Remember, those symbols mean parallel. The way we can decide that is by finding the slope of each line. To find the slope of AC, We could use the coordinates and use the slope formula, or we could just go up here on the graph and count our rise over our run. Our rise would go up 2, and our run would go over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Go over 10. So that's the slope of AC. That's going to end up being 1/5. Then the slope of our new line here, where it's the midpoints, is we go up 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, over 5. Those end up being the same. Since they end up being the same, if slopes are the same, slopes are equal, then lines are parallel. So we then know that it's parallel. So that's part of it. Now we got to show that this is half as long as that. And to do that, we're going to use the distance formula. Distance formula looks like this. Subtract the x's, square it. Subtract the y's, square that. Add those two together, take the square root of the whole thing. So for the midpoint ones, we got to find the coordinates, or actually we already found the coordinates right here. These are the coordinates that we're going to use. Right there, right there. Our x's are 10 minus 5 squared. Our y's, 6 minus 5 squared. 10 minus 5 is 5. 5 squared is 25. 6 minus 5 is 1. Squared is 1. You get 26. You can take your calculator. Square root of 26 is about 5.1. So it's approximately 5.1. Now we're going to find the length of segment AC. I'm going to do the same thing, but use these coordinates for A and C. I'm going to do 11 minus 1 for our x's, and 4 minus 2 for our y's. 11 minus 1 is 10. 10 squared is 100. 4 minus 2 is 2. 2 squared is 4. So we got 104. We take the square root of 104. And you get about 10.2. Well, if we compare these two, 10.2 is twice as long as 5.1. So that shows us that it's double, and we showed that it was parallel. Jessica participated in a walkathon to raise money for a local charity. She began walking at a rate of 3 miles per hour. The graph represents her distance walked as a function of time. Notice it's a line. If Jessica had walked at an average rate of 2 miles per hour, which of the following accurately illustrates how this graph would appear using this excuse me, the same scale? So if she only walked 2 miles per hour, the line wouldn't go up as quick. It'd only go up 2 miles for every 1 hour. So we look over here and we try to figure out which one goes across an hour and up 2 hours. So 2 hours compared to, or 2 miles, I'm sorry, 2 miles compared to every 1 hour would be her slope. So we look here, 1 hour, looks like it's about a half a mile, so that's probably not right. 1 hour goes up to here, so that's about 1 hour, 2 miles. That one looks like it might be right. Here, 1 hour, 2 miles would be right there, so that one can't be right. 1 hour, 2 miles would be about there. So that one can't be right, so it's got to be B. The diagram below gives the lengths of all but one of the sides of a pentagon. Remember, pentagon's got 5 sides. What is the perimeter of pentagon ABCDE? Alright, what we're going to have to do on this one is we can draw this in right here, or you could draw it the other way. Doesn't matter. Either way, it ends up being a right triangle. And in that right triangle, we can figure out the length of this side, because this part down here is 4, this whole thing over here is 8, so that means there's 4 left over for that. So there's 4 left over right there. This, we do the same thing but with the top and the bottom. All the way across is 15. From here to there is 12. Well, that leaves this part, which makes it 3. And then that fits a family, but if you don't know the families yet, then you can just use Pythagorean's theorem. 4 squared plus 3 squared has to equal c squared. 4 squared is 16. 3 squared is 9 equals c squared. That's 25 equals c squared. Take the square root of both sides. So this side over here has to be 5, which is that. Now we find the perimeter of the whole thing. We find the perimeter by adding them all up. So 5 plus 12 plus 8 plus 15 plus 4. 5 plus 12 is 17 plus 8 is 25. 25 plus 15 is 40. 40 plus 4 is 44. The area of Alaska is about 6 times 10 to the 5th square miles. The area of Rhode Island is about 1.5 times 10 to the 3rd square miles. What is the difference between the area of Alaska and the area of Rhode Island? In science class, you probably learned that to add or subtract these, you need a common exponent there. Maybe in this case, it might be best just to change both of these into standard form, then change your answer back into regular form, and that's what I'm going to do here. 1.5 times 10 to the 3rd. That just tells us to move the decimal over 3 places. So it'll be 1.5, you bump it over 3, 2, 3, fill in zeros. That means 1500. 6 times 10 to the 5th. That means bump it over 5 places. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Add 5 zeros. So that means 600,000. You subtract those two. 0, 0. Got to borrow. That's going to be 10. Borrow here. That's 9. That's 5. Then we have to borrow there. Make that a 9. Make that a 10. That'd be 8, 9, 5. Now they give us the answer in scientific notation, so we have this answer, 598,500. We want to change that into scientific notation, so we want to move the decimal over till there's only one number in front of it. So 5.985, we can drop the zeros, times 10, and we count how many places we move the decimal. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, means 10 to the 5th. And let's see, it'll be this one right here, letter C. Problem 44. In 1993, the median age of brides in Ohio was 27.0 years. The median age of grooms was 28.9. Based on this information, which of the following statements must be true? Most brides were 27 years old. Maybe. The youngest groom was 28.9. Probably not, because they were probably young. Some were younger, some were older. So that one's probably wrong. Half of the grooms were 28.9 years old or older. Doesn't necessarily mean that half of them were that, because it's the median. Remember, median just means the middle number, so we don't know that one for sure. All the grooms were older than the brides were Yeah, we don't know that one for sure because you could add, one of them that was backwards, but when you did the median, it still came out the same. Most brides were 27 years old. All right, let's start this one over real quick based on the information. So again, remember median. If you have the medians of something, that means that 50% is on this side of the median, 50% is on that side of the median. So most brides were 27 years old. We don't know that for sure because that would be right in the middle. That doesn't necessarily mean that most all of them were at 27. So let's do this. The youngest groom was 28.9. We know that that's not true because that was the median age, so that can't be the, it could be the youngest age, but not necessarily. Probably not. Half of the grooms were 28.9 years old or older. Maybe. All the grooms were older than their brides. We don't know that one. So C, because 50% would be that age or older and 50% would be that age or younger.